Good evening. This is Akashvani. I am Saira Mujtaba with the news at 9. The headlines. Political parties intensify campaign for assembly elections in Karnataka. India's domestic coal production rises by over 22% during last 5 years. Government to introduce 30% millets in Central Armed Police Forces and National Disaster Response Force personnel meals. Two-day meeting of Foreign Ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization to begin in Goa tomorrow. Government to launch a program for film enthusiasts and common citizens to fund for the digitization of their favorite film. A cyclonic circulation is likely to develop over Southeast Bay of Bengal in the next few days. And UN Secretary General calls for more funding for Afghanistan, says the country is facing largest humanitarian crisis. And now the news in detail. The political atmosphere in Karnataka ahead of the May 10 Assembly election has heated up, with top leaders from BJP, Congress and JDS organizing roadshows, rallies and public meetings. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held 6 public meetings, rallies and 1 mega roadshow on his second leg of a 2-day visit to poll-bound Karnataka. Addressing the second public meeting this afternoon at Ankola and Uttara Kannada district, the Prime Minister said the opposition cannot defeat the BJP.
कांग्रेस जेडीएस सरकार के समय सालाना 30,000 करोड़ रुपए का आसपास विदेश से निवेश आता था, फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट। भाजपा को आपने मौका दिया, मिले हमें 3 साल मिले, लेकिन 3 साल में 3 गुना बढ़कर सालाना लगभग 90,000 करोड़ रुपए हो गया।
Appealing to first-time voters in Karnataka, Mr. Modi said their vote is crucial in deciding the state's future. Major political parties, BJP, Congress and Janata Dal Secular, have released their manifestos and leaders of all these parties are focusing on taking them to voters. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra addressed a public meeting at Bidar today and will hold another meeting in Gulbarg district. Our correspondent reports that the campaigning is witnessing high-voltage sloganeering.
Campaigning for Karnataka Assembly polls is witnessing a high-voltage sloganeering by political parties. While BJP and Congress, both the mainstream parties, fencing their chances to rule the state, Janata Dal Secular is battling for its survival in this election. This time, the party has set a target mission of 123 seats to form a government independently. The party has been seeking votes in the name of regional Kannadiga pride, saying that the national parties fall short of serving interests of this state. With Sudhindra, this is SN Patnaik, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today said that India's focus on MSMEs and ensuring food security has been instrumental in the Indian economy's successful recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic. She said that protection of vulnerable sections has been India's prime focus as the government charted its course towards recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. The Finance Minister was addressing as a panelist in the Governor's Seminar on the theme Policies to Support Asia's Rebound, held as part of the 56th Asian Development Bank annual meeting in Incheon, South Korea. In the context of food security, the Finance Minister raised concern over the disparity in treatment of emerging markets vis-à-vis developed countries since the WTO regime trade agreements have tended to be lopsided. She also called for the WTO to renew focus on trade in agricultural products, recognizing that subsidies will be essential for developing economies as they attempt to recover from the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. India's domestic coal production has risen by over 22% during the last 5 years. The Coal Ministry said that the country's overall coal production has seen a quantum jump to 893.08 million tons in financial year 2022-23 as compared to 728.72 million tons in financial year 2018-19, with a growth of about 22.6%. The priority of the ministry is to enhance domestic coal production to reduce dependence on substitutable coal imports. The ministry said the production of Coal India Limited or CIL has increased to 703.21 million tons as compared to 606.89 million tons in financial year 2018-19, with a growth of 15.9% in the last 5 years. The Ministry of Home Affairs has decided to introduce millets or Shri Anna in the meals of personnel of Central Armed Police Forces (CAPF) and National Disaster Response Force (NDRF). The decision to introduce 30% millets in the meals has been taken on the clarion call of the Union Home Minister and Minister of Cooperation Amit Shah after detailed discussions with all the forces. The ministry had asked all the forces to take action for the introduction of a millets-based menu. Millets will also be extensively used in various functions and events of CAPF and NDRF. The ministry informed that millets will also be made available in Kendriya Police Kalyan Bhandar, grocery shops of the campuses and ration stores by setting up dedicated counters and corners. The forces will organize training of cooks in preparing millets-based dishes through reputed institutes in this field. The United Nations had declared 2023 as the International Year of Millets, as recognizing the importance of millets and creating a domestic and global demand, along with providing nutritious food to the people. Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare Dr. Mansukh Mandavia today reviewed the organ donation policy with senior officers of the Health Ministry in New Delhi. After the review, Dr. Mandavia said that far-sighted structural changes are in the offing to reform the organ donation and organ transplant sector. He directed officials to imbibe learnings from international standards. The Health Ministry said that the number of total organ transplants in the country has substantially increased from less than 5,000 in the year 2013 to more than 15,000 in the year 2022. Now, more organs per deceased donor are being utilized due to better coordination through the network of organ and tissues transplant organizations at national, regional and state level. A 2-day meeting of foreign ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization or SCO will begin tomorrow in Goa. Foreign ministers of 8 nations, including Pakistan and China, are expected to fly down to Goa for the key meeting. India, which took over the chairmanship of the SCO grouping in September last year, is the host this year. SCO has Russia, India, China, Pakistan and 4 Central Asian countries, that is Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan as its members. A report.
India will be hosting the meeting of Council of Foreign Ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization member countries. It is organized on 4th and 5th May 2023 in Goa. Foreign ministers of member countries including China and Pakistan are expected to be present at the meeting. State government of Goa, in cooperation with the central government, has ensured well preparedness for the meeting. The Shanghai Cooperation Organization is a 8-member multilateral organization established on 15th June 2001 in Shanghai. Tushar Yadav for AIR News, Goa.
This is Akashvani giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. Welcome back. You're listening to News at 9. Government will launch a program under which film enthusiasts and common citizens can fund for the digitization of their favorite film. Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra today announced this in FICCI Frames. He said that the government will soon release a list of heritage films and fans can choose the film they would like to be digitized from the list. He said that government is targeting digitization of more than 5,000 feature films and short films, out of which 1,400 feature films and 1,100 short films are already digitized, he added. He said government has allocated around 500 crore rupees for this project. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra has said that the government will soon introduce animation, gaming and VFX curriculum in schools. He was speaking at the inaugural session of FICCI Frames in Mumbai today. He said that India needs to catch up with the world in the field of animation, VFX and gaming. Mr. Chandra assured that the government will help in creating required manpower for animation, VFX and gaming industry. The Vice President of India, Jagdeep Dhankar, has said that the National Education Policy 2020 is going to be a big game changer for Indians. While delivering the speech to the faculties and students of Dhanamanjari University in Imphal this afternoon, the Vice President said that this education policy is not a political policy nor a state policy. The policy is a national policy and it was evolved for the younger generation so that education becomes purposeful and results in development of skills.
I will appeal to all of you, look around, you will have an idea. When you get an idea, try to be a job creator, not a job seeker. If you will look around, because of technological development, you will find number of areas where you can show your talent, improve the lives of the people, and that is one aspect which you must bear in mind. Money is no problem if you have an idea in your mind.
Later, the Vice President visited Manipur University and interacted with scientists and faculty members there. Over 3,200 Indians have been evacuated from Sudan under Operation Kaveri. Embassy of India in Khartoum said that till yesterday, Indians moved out of Port Sudan using 5 Indian naval ships and 13 Indian Air Force aircraft, including one from Wadi Sayedina military air base. Meanwhile, the Indian Embassy in Sudan's Khartoum will be temporarily relocated to Port Sudan. The External Affairs Ministry said the decision has been taken in view of the prevailing security situation in Sudan, including attacks in Khartoum city. The ministry said the situation will be assessed in the light of further developments. A cyclonic circulation is likely to develop over Southeast Bay of Bengal around the 6th of this month. Under its influence, a low-pressure area is likely to form over the same region around 7th of May. Briefing media in New Delhi, Director General of India Meteorological Department, Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra said, it is likely to concentrate into a depression over Southeast Bay of Bengal on the 8th of this month. He added that thereafter there is a good possibility of its intensification while moving nearly northwards towards the central Bay of Bengal. The DG also said the system is under constant watch and being monitored regularly. Joint Committee on Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023 has asked suggestions from stakeholders on examination of the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill 2023. In an official release of the Lok Sabha Secretariat, the committee under the chairperson of Member of Parliament Rajendra Agrawal has invited memoranda containing views and suggestions from the public in general and NGOs, experts, stakeholders and institutions in particular. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that Afghanistan faces the largest humanitarian crisis in today's world, while calling for more funding for the UN Humanitarian Response Plan. The UN chief made the remarks during a press conference in Qatar's capital, Doha, following a 2-day closed-door meeting on Afghanistan. Special envoys from more than 20 countries and international organizations, including Russia and the US, were present in the meeting. World Press Freedom Day is being celebrated today. It is celebrated on May the 3rd every year to emphasize the importance of freedom of press and its role in society. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Political parties intensify campaign for assembly elections in Karnataka. India's domestic coal production rises by over 22% during the last 5 years. Government to introduce a 30% millets in Central Armed Police Forces and National Disaster Response Force personnel meals. 2-day meeting of foreign ministers of Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO to begin in Goa tomorrow. Government to launch a program for film enthusiasts and common citizens to fund for digitization of their favorite film. A cyclonic circulation is likely to develop over Southeast Bay of Bengal in the next few days. And United Nations Secretary General calls for more funding for Afghanistan, says the country is facing the largest humanitarian crisis. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. That's all in the news at 9. Good night.